Most people are not lazy. They are controlled. Controlled by their phone, controlled by noise, controlled by comfort, controlled by every distraction that is stronger than their discipline. And the scary part is this: your brain is not broken. It has been trained to avoid deep work. But today, I'll show you 5 psychological triggers that can force your mind back into focus. Most people don't have a focus problem. They have an environment problem. They wake up, grab their phone, feed their brain with noise, open 10 tabs, check 5 messages, respond to everyone else's priorities, and then wonder why they cannot concentrate on their own life. But the truth is simple. Your brain is not weak. Your brain is trained. It has been trained to chase stimulation. It has been trained to avoid discomfort. It has been trained to look for the fastest reward instead of the highest reward. And that is why motivation is not enough. Motivation disappears the moment the work becomes boring. Motivation disappears the moment your phone lights up. Motivation disappears the moment your emotions change. So if you want real focus, you need something stronger than motivation. You need triggers. Psychological triggers that force your mind into work mode before your feelings have time to negotiate. The Stoics understood this long before modern productivity experts gave it a name. They did not wait to feel ready. They built rituals. They controlled their environment. They trained their attention. They understood that the man who cannot command his own mind will always be commanded by the world around him. In this video, I will give you 5 psychological triggers that can help you master your focus, protect your attention, and double your daily output. Not by working harder, but by making distraction harder. Because once you learn how to control the cues around you, you stop fighting your brain, and you start programming it. The first trigger is environmental command. Your environment is constantly giving instructions to your brain. The problem is, most people are living in environments that command them to be distracted. A phone on the desk commands you to check it. A messy room commands your mind to jump from one unfinished thing to another. An open social media tab commands your attention to leave your work. A television in the background commands your brain to stay half present. And then people blame themselves for not being disciplined. But discipline becomes almost impossible when your environment is designed for temptation. A focused man does not leave his attention exposed. He builds an environment that tells his brain exactly what to do. When he sits in a specific chair, his mind knows, this is where I work. When he opens a specific notebook, his mind knows, this is where I think. When he puts his phone in another room, his mind knows, distraction is not available here. This may sound simple, but simplicity is where power begins. Your brain loves patterns. If you work in the same place, at the same time, with the same setup, your mind begins to connect that environment with deep work. You no longer need to waste energy convincing yourself to start. The environment starts the process for you. This is why rituals are powerful. Before the battle, the warrior prepares his weapons. Before the work, the focused man prepares his environment. He removes the unnecessary. He clears the desk. He closes the door. He sets the timer. He decides in advance what will be done. Because when the moment arrives, he does not want to negotiate with weakness. He wants the room itself to command discipline. So before you ask yourself, why can't I focus? Ask yourself a better question. What is my environment currently telling my brain to do? If your desk looks like chaos, your thoughts will follow. If your phone is next to you, part of your mind will always be waiting for it. If your workspace has no clear boundary, your brain will treat work like an option instead of an order. The first trigger is simple. Create one place where you only do serious work. Not scrolling, not relaxing, not messaging, only work. Over time, that place becomes a psychological switch. The moment you enter it, your brain begins to understand. This is where excuses end. The second trigger is friction against distraction. Most people try to fight distraction with willpower. That is a losing battle. Because willpower is emotional. It changes. One day you feel strong. The next day you feel tired. One moment you are focused. The next moment you are bored. And when boredom appears, your brain searches for escape. This is why you should never rely only on self-control. You must build friction. Friction means making distraction difficult to access, not impossible. Difficult. because even a few extra seconds can break the automatic habit loop. If your phone is on your desk, checking it takes 1 second. If your phone is in another room, checking it requires standing up, walking away, interrupting your flow, and admitting that you are choosing distraction. That extra friction creates awareness, and awareness creates control. If social media is one tap away, you will open it without thinking. If the app is deleted, logged out, blocked, or hidden, your brain has to work harder to reach it. That gap gives your discipline time to wake up. This is not weakness. This is strategy. A man who wants to win does not place his enemy next to his bed. He removes the enemy from the battlefield. So if YouTube distracts you, block it during work hours. If messages distract you, turn off notifications. If your phone controls your morning, charge it outside your bedroom. If your friends keep interrupting you, tell them when you are unavailable. Stop acting like focus is supposed to survive in the middle of constant attack. Even the strongest mind becomes tired when it has to resist temptation every minute of the day. The disciplined person is not the person who fights more temptations. The disciplined person is the person who removes more temptations before the fight begins. This is one of the biggest secrets of productivity. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the strength of your systems. If your system makes distraction easy, you will be distracted. If your system makes focus easier than escape, your output will rise naturally. You don't need to become superhuman. You need to stop making weakness convenient. The third trigger is the first 5-minute rule. Most people lose the battle before they even begin. They look at the task and think, this will take 2 hours. Then their brain reacts with resistance. 2 hours feels heavy. 2 hours feels boring. 2 hours feels painful. So they delay. They check their phone first. They make coffee first. They clean something first. They tell themselves they will start when they feel ready. But readiness rarely comes before action. Readiness usually comes after action. The mind does not want to begin hard things. But once it begins, momentum starts building. That is why the first 5 minutes are everything. Do not tell yourself, I need to work for 2 hours. Tell yourself, I only need to start for 5 minutes. Open the document, write the first sentence, read the first page, send the first email, make the first call, lift the first weight. Once you begin, your brain receives a new signal. We are already doing this. And once your mind accepts that the task has started, resistance begins to drop. This is where many people misunderstand discipline. They think discipline is about feeling strong for the entire session. It is not. Discipline is often just surviving the beginning, because the beginning is where resistance is strongest. Before the work begins, your imagination exaggerates the pain, but once you are inside the work, the task becomes smaller. The fear becomes smaller. The excuse becomes weaker. Action destroys the fantasy of difficulty. This is why the Stoic does not wait for perfect emotion. He begins. He understands that emotion follows movement, not the other way around. So the next time you feel resistance, do not argue with it. Do not try to motivate yourself. Do not give yourself a long speech. Just make one small move, 5 minutes. That is the deal. But here is the hidden power. Most of the time, after 5 minutes, you will continue. Not because you forced yourself, but because momentum has taken over. And momentum is one of the most powerful forces in human behavior. A distracted person waits to feel focused before starting. A disciplined person starts and lets focus appear after the first action. The fourth trigger is identity anchoring. This may be the most powerful one, because your behavior will always try to match your identity. If you see yourself as a lazy person, discipline will feel fake. If you see yourself as someone who always quits, consistency will feel unnatural. If you see yourself as someone who cannot focus, every distraction will feel like proof. But if you begin to see yourself as a focused person, your actions start to change, not instantly, but gradually. Your brain begins to ask different questions. Instead of asking, do I feel like working? You ask, what would a disciplined person do right now? Instead of asking, can I skip today? You ask, what would the future version of me respect? Instead of asking, why is this hard? You ask, what kind of person am I becoming by doing this? That question changes everything. Because weak behavior becomes harder when it conflicts with your identity. If you believe you are building yourself into someone serious, then wasting your entire morning on cheap entertainment feels like betrayal. If you believe you are becoming a leader, then avoiding responsibility feels beneath you. If you believe you are becoming someone powerful, then giving your attention away to every notification feels unacceptable. Identity creates standards, and standards create discipline. This is why goals alone are not enough. A goal says, I want to achieve something. An identity says, this is who I am. Goals can be forgotten. Identity follows you everywhere. So do not only say, I want to be more focused. Say, I am becoming the type of person who protects his attention. Do not only say, I want to be productive. Say, I am becoming the type of person who keeps promises to himself. Do not only say, I want success. Say, I am becoming the type of person who does the work even when nobody sees it. This is not about fake confidence. This is about repetition. Every time you choose focus, you cast a vote for a stronger identity. Every time you keep your word, you prove something to yourself. Every time you work while others escape, you strengthen the image of who you are becoming. And eventually, discipline stops feeling like something you are forcing. It starts feeling like something you cannot abandon, because it has become part of who you are. The fifth trigger is dopamine control. This is where most people destroy their focus before the day has even started. They wake up and immediately give their brain the highest stimulation available: social media, messages, videos, news, entertainment, other people's opinions. Before they have even touched their own goals, their brain has already been flooded with cheap dopamine. And after that, normal work feels boring. Reading feels slow. Writing feels painful. Planning feels dry. Exercise feels too hard. Deep work feels impossible. But the problem is not that the work is too difficult. The problem is that your brain has been overstimulated too early. You cannot feed your mind junk in the morning and expect it to crave discipline by noon. The first inputs of your day matter. They set the tone. If your first input is distraction, your mind becomes reactive. If your first input is silence, planning, movement, or work, your mind becomes intentional. The man who controls the beginning of his day controls the direction of his mind. This does not mean you can never enjoy entertainment. It means reward must come after effort, not before. First the work, then the dopamine. First the mission, then the reward. First the promise to yourself, then the pleasure. This simple order can change your life. Because when pleasure comes first, discipline feels like punishment. But when effort comes first, pleasure becomes earned. And earned pleasure does not weaken you the same way cheap pleasure does. The Stoic does not reject comfort because comfort is evil. He rejects comfort when it becomes his master. There is nothing wrong with rest. There is something wrong when rest becomes escape. There is nothing wrong with entertainment. There is something wrong when entertainment becomes the first priority of your life. There is nothing wrong with pleasure. There is something wrong when pleasure trains you to avoid every form of discomfort. If you want deep focus, protect your dopamine. Do not start your day by consuming. Start your day by creating. Do not begin with noise. Begin with control. Do not give your best attention to people who did nothing to earn it. Give your best attention to your future. For the first hour of the day, avoid cheap stimulation. No scrolling, no random videos, no unnecessary messages, no digital noise. Use that hour to move, think, plan, write, train, build, or attack your most important task. This one habit alone can separate you from most people. Because most people give the first and strongest part of their mind to distraction, then they give the tired leftovers to their dreams, and then they wonder why their life is not changing. You cannot build a powerful future with leftover attention. You must give your best hours to your highest priorities. Now bring these 5 triggers together. Environmental command, friction against distraction, the first 5-minute rule, identity anchoring, dopamine control. These are not tricks, they are weapons, because the modern world is designed to steal your attention. Every app wants your mind. Every notification wants your reaction. Every platform wants your time. Every distraction promises comfort now and takes your future later. And if you do not consciously protect your focus, the world will spend it for you. This is why focus is no longer just a productivity skill. Focus is self-defense. Focus is how you protect your future from the noise of the present. Focus is how you separate your goals from your moods. Focus is how you become dangerous in a world full of distracted people. Because the person who can sit down, block out noise, and work deeply for hours has an advantage most people will never understand. While they are reacting, you are building. While they are scrolling, you are improving. While they are waiting for motivation, you are creating momentum. While they are chasing comfort, you are becoming someone they will one day call lucky. But it was never luck. It was attention. Controlled attention. Repeated attention. Disciplined attention. The kind of attention that turns average days into progress. The kind of attention that turns small actions into identity. The kind of attention that turns silence into power. So stop asking yourself why you cannot focus. Start asking yourself what you have allowed to control your focus. Because your attention is your life. Where it goes, your energy goes. Where your energy goes, your future grows. And if you keep giving your attention to distractions, you are not just wasting time. You are training your mind to abandon yourself. But if you take back control, everything changes. You do not need to become perfect. You do not need to disappear from the world. You do not need to work 20 hours a day. You only need to become serious about protecting the part of you that creates your future. Start with your environment. Remove one distraction. Begin with 5 minutes. Ask what your future self would do. Delay cheap dopamine until the work is done. Do this every day, and you will begin to feel something shift. Your mind will become calmer. Your work will become deeper. Your output will become sharper. Your confidence will become real, not because someone motivated you, but because you proved to yourself that you can command your own mind. And a man who can command his own mind is no longer easy to control. So today, make a decision. Do not wait for the perfect mood. Do not wait for motivation. Do not wait for the world to become quiet. The world will not become quiet. You must become stronger than the noise. You must build systems that protect your attention. You must train your brain to obey your purpose instead of your impulses. Because focus is not a gift. Focus is a discipline. Focus is not something you find. Focus is something you command. And once you master your focus, you stop being a prisoner of distraction. You become the architect of your own life. If this message reached you at the right time, write "I choose focus" in the comments. And if you want to build a stronger mind, a stronger identity, and a stronger future, subscribe to the channel. Because your old life was built by scattered attention. Your next life will be built by disciplined focus.